Yo, yo, what up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Hope everybody's well. It is Friday, March 7th, and I've taken a more relaxed position today. We're gonna do a quick recap. Was trying to figure out, did I want to do a live? I'm gonna do I figured, what the fuck? Let's just go ahead and let's just do like we'll just do a recap in a video, post this to the channel. We'll be back on live Sunday for the open. Next week, we primarily have CPI on Wednesday, and then we've got, again, our jobless claims, initial and continuing. Give you my little raggedy ass 2 cents, literally. So what we actually had this week, some pretty dynamic price action. I did do something that typically I don't do, and it's not really against, because I always say I don't trade NFP, I don't trade the news, which I didn't. So technically I didn't do that. However, what I did do was I might have traded before it last night overnight, and I traded after it today, which was beneficial. So let's look at those numbers real quick. So I was in the combine. I was in a 50K combine, and probably can't see that. So my flipping apologies. Maybe one of these days my eyesight will diminish, and then I can't look at things like super fucking small. But until that day comes, like, it's just the way I like looking at stuff. So $1,112.60 is what we had. I took a couple of trades today. So I actually technically took 2 after I got back to the house from work this morning. That first position was at, don't judge me either, the first position was at 1108. The second position was at 1255. So that 1108, I didn't trust it. So it was only worth about $80. But here's the interesting thing. This is the interesting and the crazy thing. So I did say that I took that position overnight, right? So, and I'll show you that on the chart. The position overnight, where are we at? So the position I held overnight, I got into that position at 6:22 last night. So obviously 22 minutes after the Globex Open. We netted about $155 on that. And then prior to me leaving to go to work at about 4:40 this morning, so I literally put this position on, and then I went and just kind of like started getting dressed, and I didn't like the way it was setting up. And actually, hindsight in this particular instance, I would have gotten wrecked if I left it on and I wasn't checking from my phone at work. But I closed it out. I looked at it, closed it out, closed it at 40. So I was just under $200. Came back home. That 1108 position, we took 80, and the banger that we actually got was the 1255. We ended up bagging 1,080 on that position. So that's how we arrive at this 1343.80. So we'll close the week up at 1112.60. Suck balls on Monday, back-to-back dubs on Tuesday and Wednesday, both about both about $831. So Tuesday was $831.28, Wednesday was $832.20. Suck balls again on Thursday. That was kind of understandable because I led with assuming one thing and didn't check. I just didn't check. That's all I'm gonna say on that. So at least I had the presence of mind at this point on Thursday, to recognize a mistake, and then I just lock myself out. I completely lock myself out. So that's that. Let's get into this charting. So today, what did I see today? Let's go back first. So last night, I was a special baby yesterday. So what I thought I saw, which again, it worked out just in terms of what I was looking at in terms of the structural delivery, it worked out. But I didn't have enough confidence, and I can say that honestly and openly. I didn't have enough confidence to leave the position open. It had not moved enough to where I was going to be able to reasonably place, say, a stop at break even. I know what I said. I could not even move my stop to break even. Say it that way. and there was no prospect of like moving it into profit without pretty much getting taken out before I even left the house today for work. So, but what, pray tell, was I looking at? Well, first thing I was looking at was basically at this 415 wick, but I was looking at the afternoon. Now, I did not count this wick. I looked at that as a lunch hour run back into this area of fair value. I kind of sort of, hindsight, just going back and reviewing price today, I kind of sort of should have been looking at that. But I digress for a moment, and you'll find out why I say that. So I low-key ignored that, and I said, okay, lunch hour, don't worry about that. Like, we're not looking at that. Let's just only deal with PM session. So let me get rid of that for a second. I had basically, I drew like a fib on my daily. So that's what that is. I'm looking at that like, what the hell? Let's see. So yeah, so ignored that, and I just basically did one of these numbers. I said, okay, that's my PM high, right? This PM low, which worked out, right? 230. The highs put in 130. This was 250. So obviously we know we had this run above, and you could say, well, why wouldn't you use this? I could, right? But once I saw this, break, I said, okay, well, we can move it here. But I wanted to stay within the PM session. So lo and behold, what do we get at 6? Well, we get this snap too, right? So I immediately looked at that and I said, okay, well, that's a high. We had this run back inside, and if you look at the time on this candle here, and I don't mind telling on myself, I really don't. I got in on this candle because my supposition, my idea, originally, my idea was looking at this swing low in this area of fair value, and we obviously had already had a run back in here, right? So my novel idea, I was like, hey, I can get in on this candle because this is gonna close, right? It's basically eliminated the gap. So we could say that the 6 is participation on the buy side. This will close down. We should continue short. And my logic was, even electronic trade hours, I'm thinking, okay, well, we've cleared some buy side, so I'm not saying take the low, but a fair amount of mitigation in. And even if we're, say, closing below this level, should be okay. But then as I kept looking down, my brain immediately went to, hey, if you run that and if you run it out, what is down here to stop it? That's where my brain went. So again, initially I wasn't looking for the low to get run out, but I kind of started talking to myself mentally, and something said, hey, if it takes that low, what stops it after that? And as I look down here, I'm like, well, nothing really, because this could be a low resistance liquidity run. So instead of maybe bagging this profit at this low, no, I held it. And in truth, I held I held it through the night, and I held it up to maybe about 10 to 15 minutes before I got into the 440 trade this morning, because I had noticed that obviously, yes, I went back into, based on this candle entry, I went back into some level of drawdown, and drawdown from 8 and then 9, and then slowly but surely things kind of worked out to where I was profit, but I wasn't even looking at the charts anymore. I left everything up and open, and I was checking on them. But once we got into 1 to 150, yeah, your boy was knocked the hell out. Like, I wouldn't have known if somebody came to me and was like, hey, you just passed. I wouldn't have heard it. I was dead to the fucking world. But I woke up in enough time here, and like I said, this is like, I said 15 minutes. Yeah, that's a lie. Because I showed you my journal. I didn't lose any of these positions. So I believe I closed here at 4:05. I wake up at 4 every day. So the first thing I did was, what men typically do when we first wake up. I did that. And then I came and I looked at the charts, and I was like, God damn it. Because I saw this, and I'm like, my target was down here. I'm not going to bullshit you. It was down here. So I saw this, and I said, well, I don't really want to let this run, because I don't know how much further it's going to take long, if indeed it's going to short. And why else didn't I want to hold? NFP at 8:30. I wasn't going to be home. I wasn't practicing a cough. I was going to go to work. So what I missed was this little piece of structure here sticking out like a sore thumb. But it still would have been not enough for me to be able to see. So this is my high. This would have been my low. And this candle right now at 410 gave me a higher high, which inevitably would have allowed me to take a short. I could have, but I wasn't looking at, at no point did I really look back here and go, I didn't do that. So I was short-sighted in that. But again, sometimes hindsight will give you a different type of perspective, which it did, because again, looking back on that, had I taken this blindly, there's a good chance I would have just set my stop up here. And then that brings us back to excuse me, ironically enough, I bypassed this low and this, right? This joker right here, man, this joker right here. So these all, and this is why I say short-sighted, wasn't reading the overall price action. So high, relative equal high, that, oh my goodness, it's in a fair value gap. I always talk about it. What's a higher low in a fair value gap? It is a target. It's a target. So not only was this a target for our 830 NFP, but that was the thing that actually kept me, my short-sightedness in this instance actually kept me profitable, because I'd already taken 2 positions in this account, last night Globex, and then obviously London session, and then I came back and I took 2 later on. So the fact that I did not see that, and the fact that I wasn't really trusting, those are the things that kept me profitable today. At least, at the outset, going out this morning, already talking about it like today's Saturday. So just kind of moving along and moving through. I don't know about anybody else. I'm gonna measure this out because I have my opinions right now about what we'll probably foresee. So the NFP candle was 212 handles. It's fairly sizable, right? It is what it is, right? Um, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say, like, for everybody that trades around news, trades news, for the foreseeable future, I would just be really careful because it has been said. I mentioned this, I believe, the last, or maybe I thought I mentioned it to you, and if I hadn't said it, I'm gonna say it now. There's been some level of speculation and rumor, and intimated by the Secretary of Commerce to kind of revise how financials and economic data is not how it's tabulated, right? How it's represented to the public, how it's represented to the global market as a whole, and how it could potentially be reinterpreted. So I'm not gonna get into like the political landscape of what that means. I'm just going to look at it from what we do as speculators. I'm looking at it from the financial, from the business aspect of it. When you don't give accurate information to the best of your ability for the global market at a whole, it is not an, and this is just, again, obviously my opinion, it is not an insulating position as to speak to whether or not you're fulfilling your global fiduciary obligation, which is to be forthcoming and honest with all of the data, right? When you change or you contort the amount of information that you are making readily available in a report, and you've stated that, you kind of put yourself in a situation where the markets will not necessarily respond to the overall, reporting of the data. So what I mean, very simple and very plain layman terms in English, is a couple of weeks ago we saw initial jobless claims. For, like, to me, it was a dud. A couple of weeks we saw a dud on Thursday, initial jobless claims. It's literally a doji. You can go back and look, and it's not. I think I actually have. It might be a recap video from a couple of weeks ago, literally from 2 weeks ago, where I literally point that out in my analysis. Like, I go and I scroll or mouse over the candle, and it's a doji, right? So we're not talking about New York State rate decision, right? Where like the New York State is basically dealing in building permits and things like that. Like, we're not talking about some low economic data release where that could be a doji. You're talking about non-farm payroll. You're talking about initial jobless claims, continuing claims, corrections and updates. And the best you could do is produce a doji that, maybe on its face was worth what? About 10, 15 handles in NQ, which is not, I'm not shaking a finger at it. I'm just simply saying you got 212 out of NFP today. I know, again, depending on the data, but again, if it is contorted, is it possible that the 212 gets halved? Do you look at 106 range when others have like other economic data and your report does not reflect the overall data? Like, you have to dig into it, where somebody's going to say we're not very trusting of that. And that's really what I'm getting to. It might reach a point where people are going to simply say, hey, look, I don't trust the data as I'm reviewing it. So the numbers, the reactions are going to be substantive to the data that's being presented. So just a little bit of an awkward kind of thing, but it was something that I just kind of wanted to mention. Do your own diligence and homework. Just go look and see. Don't take my word for it. But again, that was the United States Commerce Secretary that made those statements, and obviously paraphrasing. But again, the the generality of what he was saying is, hey, we have a different way of interpreting this data and how to pass it on to the American people and the global economy as a whole. So enough said about that. All right. So just real quick, getting back into today's positions. So there was a short opportunity that I did see in here, and this was just based on what I thought might have been a continuation, right? So we had this 1040 here, which finally took out our sell side liquidity that was resting below the previous day's PM session. What I was looking at primarily, getting back to the house here and why this position availed itself is because I'd actually watched price, and I was treating it, yes, we cleared the level, but I was treating this as basically another breaker structure. So you had a breaker structure here with this bearish candle with obviously great expansion and this gigantic fair value gap, but I wasn't sure based on how far it came up. So I waited for a couple of candle closures, and I believe I either got in, and I didn't take it all the way down. I got in, I believe, on this candle. So it was like 11. Let me go back and look and see what time that position was. I don't want to misrepresent. Yeah, 11:08 is when we got in on that position. So it was this candle, because this is the 11:10 candle. So that candle was worth $80. You're like, well, why did you get out? Because as I said, I wasn't 100% sold, and then the last one we got into was 12.55. I wasn't completely sold on that, right? What I was sold on, though, however, was the opposite, right? I was sold on this candle, like in a major way. I was sold on it. Why was I sold on it? Well, once price did actually clear this level, so here was basically a breaker structure short. I was on the assumption that we get a continuation. I did just get in here, and like I said, I wasn't 100% sure. It's an NFP day. We're still coming out of an extreme volatile market, which was great. The volatility was great. But once price came into this area, created this wick, which I kind of just made reference to. I know it's kind of far out, but I just did that just to be able to eyeball it and get it a good idea. Once I saw price close back above here, my only other thought was, okay, so are we potentially going to clear this substructure or not? Because if we even act like we're going to close within the structure, I was treating these three candles almost like their own, like one candle, and closure inside the candle body. So what I then was looking at was, okay, if we get a closure back in here on this side, on the right side, then it's possible, because we've already cleared the structure here, right? We're in the structural narrative here. So we've basically made this bearish fair value an inversion here. So it just gave me a little bit more confidence, and I went the other way. I didn't go bullish. I took this candle bearish. Why did I take it bearish? When we closed above this structure, there's fair value sitting here. So I kind of took a little bit of a chance. I'm a contrarian. You guys know this about me already. I'm a contrarian, because I was thinking that both things could be true at the same time. I was saying, hey, we could probably look for continued longs, but just in case, because if anybody was looking at price this afternoon's price action did what I kind of thought. It didn't happen here, though. My thought process was something similar to this, which was we'd run through this area of fair value, which is what we did. And if there was a continuation, maybe we'd get another opportunity at this level to take basically another inversion. That's why I drew that out. However, once I got like 1,000 and whatever, I got out because I wanted to see whether or not price was going to continue to develop. I don't scale into positions, but I didn't want to continue to move my stop aggressively with the candle not closing because I'm kind of cutting off my own nose to spite my face. So I felt like, let me take what's on the table. Let me take what's here. And then once the following candle opened and we started to pop back up, I just went up here and I hit my little lockout and I locked my account out for the day. It just wasn't, there was nothing else that was going to be worth it for me today. So I just stayed out. Now, on this side, what this has kind of led me to believe is a couple things going into next week. I would like to see potential a break above. So my anticipation is, let's see if we get a break above and then a retracement short. I would like to see that. I don't know that that's going to happen, but I'm kind of going to be sitting on my hands for a little bit. And then there are two areas up here that I have marked out to see if we retrace higher or we get higher price early in the week prior to CPI. I would be looking for these areas as potential shorts for targets. And because we haven't gotten back down here into this structure, even though we've had a change, if you will, this structure is kind of set up for a liquidity run. It just depends on what price wants to do and the fact that we have, again, economic news this week, particularly because we have CPI. I am absolutely 100% not trading CPI. I never do it. There are those times where, since it's on a Wednesday, we're looking at like Globex Open Sunday. If we reach one of these areas or levels of interest, like absolute worst case scenario trade early in the week is going to be Tuesday after work. So that's going to be a post New York, or that could be New York PM session on Tuesday. After that, I'm kind of literally tape reading. Wednesday, there's a tape read on Thursday with jobless claims. But actually, we could trade Thursday after the reporting. I know that there is some Fed chatter on Thursday, I believe, and then I'll double check. But if there's Fed speak in the afternoon or in the aftermath of initial jobless claims, Thursday may be a scratch, and then Friday there's no economic news that I know of. I think there's one event for a report, but I cannot off the top of my head remember exactly what that was. But again, in summary and in short, because coming up on 30 minutes to see if we can get in and out of here in 30. Again, if we get a gap up, I'd be looking for some liquidity to be taken. Also, one of these areas to get tapped back into for shorts. Subsequently, be looking for the reverse. If we get a gap down and somehow or another we're able to run back down into this level, or even clear and come back up and inverse this, I'd be looking for longs. So I'm not playing both sides of the market. I have two different trading plans depending upon how price presents itself and how, like I said, it reacts to some areas that I have, which are points of interest. So yeah, that's going to wrap it for this video. As I said, we will be live around 5:45 on Sunday Globex Open. So I'm probably just going to say here at the outset, be prepared to not see a trade put on right away, because there's some really, really specific things that I'm looking for. And if I don't see them, I'm not taking a position. I don't care if price runs 500 handles on Sunday. If what I'm looking to see occur does not happen in one of those two scenarios, based upon a specific price entry level or a point of interest, we're just not taking them. I'm not even taking a trade in the practice account for shits and giggles if it doesn't make sense. So But we'll be on to, support one another for the fellowship, which I absolutely love. Also, before I go, huge thank you for everybody that's subscribing to the channel. Listen, I'm going to be a little ambitious, okay? 250 is a short-term goal. Obviously, 500 is my target. I know you should be like, well, 500, why not 1,000? Incremental. I'm willing to do incremental. So I believe at last count, we're about 30 subscribers away from 250. So what I'd like to do, and I'm going to do it in this video. Not going to do it in a live, but I'm going to do it in this video. So first thing that I would like to do is when we get to 250 subscribers on the channel, I'm going to ask, once I announce in a video like this, like we've gotten to 250 subscribers, I'm going to ask that everybody that is subscribed to the channel come back and comment in the chat the day, if you remember, the day or the week that you subscribed. The reason I want you to do that is because I want to compile all of those usernames, and what I want to do is a giveaway, and we're going to do the giveaway live on stream. The giveaway right now, I'm thinking is going to be probably, it's either going to be like a gift card or something that I could give you, where if you wanted to go purchase a Combine account, because I'm not affiliated, as I've said from the outset, I have no established relationships with any of the prop firms. I think I might have affiliate code access, but I don't really promote any affiliate offers. There is a My Funded Futures, I think, in my title, but I think that link is broken. The Take Profit Trader, I think that link is broken. Why are they broken? Because that's not something that I push at all. Even though I use Topstep, I'm not a Topstep affiliate. I'm not that guy. I mean, I am that guy, but I'm not that guy. So yeah, 250 subscribers. We're only 30 away from that. When I drop the 250 thank you subscriber video, go into the comments. I want you to comment either the day or the week that you subscribe to the channel. And then what we'll do on a subsequent live event, it might be a weekly recap, or it'll be a Saturday video, or if you guys pick a day that you think would be best for everybody, I'll just kind of consult everybody, make sure that day's good. We'll do the giveaway live. And as I said, it'll either be monetary in the form of, going to buy yourself a Combine, or primarily a Combine, or I know they do like the Sim Funded or Sim to Live, whatever it is. Or conversely, it could be a prop firm challenge from a prop firm that you choose. So I might do something like a dealer's choice, give you either or. But either way, you're going to get access to it. But yeah, just something I want to do to say thank you. And if anybody has any other ideas on this video, drop a like, comment below, tell me, hey, look, Jeremy, that all sounds cool, but I would like X. As long as it's pertaining to trading, some kind of trade education, just to better ourselves. All right. So that being the case, I'm going to get out of here. Again, I'll see you guys on Sunday, 5:45. Feel free, drop a like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Subscribe if you haven't, because here's the thing. If you're one of the next 30 people and you're like, God damn, I wish I had a Combine, or man, I was barbecue chicken on the last Combine, I really need another Combine. That might be right around the corner, right? And your boy might be delivering it to you. So appreciate you guys as always. Thanks. I will see you Sunday. Take care. Be profitable. If I could talk. Stay profitable. See you Sunday. Take care. Enjoy the weekend.